We're coming, Chris. Don't panic.
I'm good.
And hello, everybody. It is Tom Chenault, and it is the Tom Chenault Show. It's an unbelievable day. You are going to love today's show. I am most proud of today's show for a couple of reasons. I love Danny Clarke. I really, really got to know this guy at an event. It was the ANMP, and he came all the way from England over to see me. He's on the back half of the show. The front half of the show is something that's going to bring tears to my eyes. I'm positive about it. We've got a guy on here named Chris O'Hare, and I love this guy. He either commented on Facebook or he friended me up on Facebook. Something happened, and whenever you friend me up on Facebook, well, the first thing I do is I look for how many friends we have in common, because I want to make sure that you are in the same profession as me or a relative of mine, and then I always look for what you do. And his said Defy Ventures, and I about swallowed my cigar, because that is an organization that is so close to my heart, you wouldn't believe it, because I am up close and personal to it. It's just been crazy. Why don't you talk about it a little bit, because you're a lot better at it, and then we'll go over to Chris.
Awesome. Yeah, so we got connected to Defy Ventures almost 2 years ago, which is hard to believe. And it was just getting ready to launch here in our home state of Colorado. And incidentally, there's a big venture capitalist named Brad Feld.
Oh, we saw it on Feld Thoughts is where we initially saw it.
Shared about it. And in that post, it mentioned that it was coming to Colorado and that if we were interested, we should reach out. And so we connected out to Brad, who's somebody who we both admire a huge amount in this community and in everything he does nationwide. And one thing led to another. We got connected with the founder of that organization, Catherine Hoke. And as it turned out, we got to be part of the first class that launched here in Colorado, down at Colorado State Penitentiary, which is the toughest prison in Colorado, and something that had never been done in that prison on any level, to have this kind of a volunteer force go in there. And it changed our lives.
We spent the whole day in maximum security, and it was unbelievable. They had pizza for lunch, and we're going like, that's no big deal. They hadn't had pizza in, 7 years?
Some of the guys said one of the guys had been in prison for 20 years and had not had pizza in 20 years.
And these guys were in for murder. I mean, they were in for some serious stuff they were never going to get out of jail on, but this thing impacted their lives so much that they decided that they were going to go into the Defy program in order to be better inmates and create community inside of the prison during the time they spend out the rest of their life. Some guys were getting out of jail. All these venture capitalists and big time people got behind this cat Hoke, and it's just a countrywide movement to really give meaning to the time these people stay in prison. So most of the people that we went down and saw aren't out. Yeah. So when I saw Chris, I was overjoyed. So I reached out to him, and here he is. So Chris O'Hare, how are you, buddy?
I'm awesome, and I really want to thank both of you for having me on your show, and also for volunteering for Defy. It's such an important program. It's something America needs. It needs to be expanded everywhere. It helped change my life. I got into Defy after my incarceration was over. As somebody with a criminal history, it was very difficult to get a job that paid decently. And most people then fall back into crime who have the experiences that I had. I had a better support system to where I didn't fall back into crime, but it was still really difficult. And I found Defy, and what Defy does is it helps people who were incarcerated, people with criminal histories, become entrepreneurs and start their own businesses. Just the bottom line is, nationally, the recidivism rate in America is about 97%. People going through the Defy program, it's less than 5% recidivism.
So just to unpack that, because I didn't know what that meant before I got into this, that means that 97% of people who go to to go to a major prison will in turn end up back there. And in this program, that drops from 97% down to 5%, which is
less than 5. Yes.
And what's so crazy about that is, think about it. All you have to do is, I mean, I've got friends of mine who are in serious trouble, lots of my friends. And I am deathly afraid of them going to prison because I do not want them to learn how to be better criminals. They made a mistake in their life. Now they're going to go to jail and they're going to become hardened criminals, except in the world of a Chris O'Hare and Defy, where these people are actually taught how to live on the outside with integrity and purpose. And they have to become entrepreneurs, because if they're going out into corporate America with boards of directors and public companies, it's impossible to be able to hire a felon, no matter how good they are, even though they're going to be the best employees you've ever had because of all the rules and regulations around that. But an entrepreneur, man, there is no credit check. There's no background check for network marketing. You just put your spikes on, get out on the field and go, right, Chris?
That's absolutely correct. And that's one of the things I loved with network marketing. That was my first foray into entrepreneurship, was in network marketing. And what I liked with it the most was it didn't take multiple thousands of dollars to get started. It was a small investment that I could afford, and it's helped me live the life. It's brought me along to live the life that I wanted to live. And then Defy helped me to start my own regular business. I'm a dog photographer. I take pictures of people's dogs for them, portraits. I have all kinds of eccentric customers and people who treat their dogs like their children, or even better sometimes. The dogs run the house. And but it's given me the ability to make a decent living, to live a lifestyle that's comfortable. You know, I'm no Donald Trump. I'm not wealthy, super wealthy, but I'm paying my bills and I'm happy. And unlike previously when I was living a criminal lifestyle, I never have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to worry about who's going to rat me out. I don't have to worry about the police. I don't have to worry about somebody coming in and taking what trying to take over what I was doing, or hurting me to take over what I was doing. There's not too many thugs in the doggy photography business.
That's good. I was worried there might be. So
even if there are a lot of thugs, you're not one, and you've got to be extremely happy. What you said to me on the phone yesterday is, I never want to go back. And I wasn't in there for the life sentence. I was in there for a while, but I never want to go back there. And Defy and network marketing and my God dog photography business have given me the ability to live a great life of contribution. Is that not what you said?
That's absolutely correct. And it's also given me, my own business gives me the time to give back. I feel that I have a debt to society. I violated the norms, the laws. I did wrong. I paid my debt as far as my sentence, but I feel I owed more. There's a lot of people who are in jail who never had a chance. I had a good family. I had a good upbringing. I had parents who loved me, great family. I went astray. There's a lot of people who don't even have that first chance. People talk about they need second chances. There's so many people who never had a first chance. And so now I do, I've received, and I'm humbled by it that I've been recognized for doing certain things to try and help other people not go down the road that I went down, to help give people tools, especially young people, tools that they don't have to make, that they don't make the mistakes I made. And it's a great way. It's just a really much more fulfilling, rewarding life. I'm much happier than I've ever been.
But even though you did your time,
yes,
and the judge put the gavel down and said, you're sentenced to X amount of time in jail, you did that time, you got out, you still found unbelievable persecution among employers and people just by virtue of the fact that you were a convicted felon. Is that correct?
Yes. As an example, I applied in New York City for the Department of Sanitation, picking up garbage. I couldn't get that job because I have a criminal record. And I asked, what am I going to do, steal garbage? I mean, the thought of that is really absurd, but that's how it was.
Yeah.
And and just different jobs in different places. I could not get a job paying over minimum wage. And especially in New York, minimum wage does not cut it.
Yeah.
And you're better off not working, quite frankly. and that leads people to go get back into crime.
So now you got a little network marketing business. I know you're building 2 companies, which I strongly advise against, by the way, for the record.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, so I got Eric Worre on here. You cannot believe the legends of network marketing that are listening and watching this show with you. They're watching you, Chris, and it's so cool because we all are faced with this constantly. Most of us have a past. Something happened in our past that we might have gotten caught at and didn't do time, or we didn't even get caught, thank God. But it is every one of us. I would hate to be judged by the worst thing I ever did, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
And so I'm just telling everybody, a guy like Chris, you don't interview him with your eyes. You gotta look past whatever time he served, look this man in the eye and realize there's still some fight in the dog, right, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. I don't give up. I won't give up. I've hired people part-time and per diem in my job. I look for people with the record.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. My wife, Denise, is watching this thing. She was down there with us, and, she was face-to-face with a guy who had really had a tough time in his previous life before he got to prison for life. And she was nose to nose with this guy and in tears 4 hours with this guy, because that's what this is all about. I'm going to move it. Yeah. So the name of the game is don't prejudge people. Let them prove that they're great human beings, no matter what you read on the piece of paper. This is the Tom Chenault Show. We're on the Genesis Communication Network. Thank you, Ted Anderson. We love you. We're coming back right after this. And we're back. Hello, Adrian.
We're back. How about that?
Say hi to Chris.
That was quick.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? And now the next small segment. Yeah, you were worried about what you were going to say. And during the next part, I want to talk about why you love network marketing. But
okay.
Talk about our sponsor.
Yeah, so I am also the sponsor of this show. And look at our cool background here. The show is sponsored by contactmapping.com. And Chris, I've been so grateful to get to be a part of Defy, because I think what has happened and what's being created there, and I want to give a shout out to the executive director of Defy Colorado, whose name is Bob Omer. And Bob is just this tremendous, tremendous guy. And what I think he sees exceptionally well is that really a huge part of what we're trying to do here is to create a network for these entrepreneurs in training who are starting to, in the state of Colorado, come out of prison, and there's going to be a wave of them coming over the coming years, and to create this network and this soft landing for them to be able to be successful when they come out. And what you talked about is spot on, right? That, any person, let alone somebody with a criminal background, you are pretty much dead in the water trying to apply for a job online. The way that things really happen in this world is it happens through your connections. And if you have a bad background, if you have a bad family history, if you've been in prison for 20 years, you come out, you don't have a network. You don't have that connection point to be able to get help and get these warm intros into companies, or be able to start a company or do whatever it is. And Bob is tirelessly committed to creating that here in the state of Colorado, just as other Defy chapters have done nationwide. And
yes,
it's just awesome.
Yeah, and that's everybody needs to think about helping that underdog, don't you think?
Absolutely.
We're so lucky and so blessed, and there's people that are absolutely suffering, and we aren't that country. And I don't know the stat. I'd love to know it. Somebody look it up, of how many people in the United States, what percentage? It's like 30% of the people in the United States have been in prison. I mean, think about the 30% of the workforce that we're blocking out with some story about their past that could be incredible employees. And what's so cool about Defy Ventures and DefyColorado.org is these guys have figured that out, and employers are actually seeking out ex-cons now, because they realize they're a lot more grateful, they're a lot more humble, they're willing to work a lot harder, possibly for a lot less money. I don't know if that's part of it, but I'll tell you, I'm glad about that.
Yeah.
and we should be talking about contact mapping. So tell people where to go find it again, because I forgot we're on the commercial.
That's okay. But here's the thing, and that's why I led into it this way, is because it really is about the network. And I think Defy is doing really important work that we really believe in at Contact Mapping, of trying to provide that network and trying to focus on creating that network for its people. And no matter who you are, no matter what your background is, I can say with confidence that however much you value your network, you are undervaluing it, because it is that powerful. It is, I think, the most powerful force that you have available to you in business, and we're all underplaying that hand. And so what I would invite you to do is go check us out, contactmapping.com. It's free to try for 30 days. It's only $10 a month after that. And the return on investment in terms of your business and your life will blow you away.
All right, we're coming back. And we're back. It's the Tom Chenault Show. We have got Chris O'Hare. I love this kid. He is a guy with a checkered past done well. And guess what I am? A guy with a checkered past done well. Guess what Adrian is? A guy with a pristine past done well. So
good job.
Who has the best advantage? I think Chris and I. Because I'm telling you what, it's kind of like religion. People with religion don't want to go to hell. People with spirituality have been to hell and don't want to go back. That's a little bit like Chris and I. And I am telling you one thing right now. I love this guy. I love the fact that was on his Facebook profile. I'm going to go to New York City and I'm going to take him out to dinner. That's how pumped up I am about it. Why do you love network marketing so much, Chris?
One, it's the least expensive way, the smallest investment to start your own business. You can't start a brick and mortar store for a couple of $100.
Yep.
Like I did. I love talking to people. I love getting out there and meeting people. I love talking to people about what their hopes and dreams are. And I like to see if there's something with what I'm offering that can help them achieve that. I don't pitch my companies to everybody I talk to, because you know what? Sometimes it's not about my companies; it's about them, and it's not a good fit. And I don't want somebody who's going to go in there and not be able to do it. That doesn't help me. It doesn't help them, and it puts a bad taste in people's mouth. So I do it, with a little bit. I do it with some integrity to make sure that the people, it's going to help who I'm talking to, and that it's good, and it helps me. And the worst comes to worst, I meet a friend. I have a new friend, and I have somebody else, in my network, and something else may come along that might be good for them, or they may run into somebody who's looking for what I have. And I've gotten a ton of referrals from people because of that.
So here's the deal, Chris.
It's just a great way of building a network.
I've got a doctorate in drunk. I've got a doctorate in network marketing. I got a doctorate in contact mapping. And if you will let me, I will mentor you to wherever you want to go in your network marketing business. I will do it for free. I will consider that a gift to the universe. And you can fire me tomorrow when you realize you already know more than me. It'll be awesome. But at the end of that was like this big, ostentatious. I heard myself saying that, and I thought, oh, you are such a pompous idiot. That is so not me to even say that, but I want to help you so badly. I can.
Thank you. No, that's appreciated.
Yeah, there's.
I always, I believe in mentors and coaches and people. As you're mentoring me, maybe I'll give you some gold nuggets of information that helps you. And it's always, it's always good to share information and to learn.
No doubt about it. And so that's the next move. So what advice do you give to somebody? I mean, there's people out there that have been smoking pot. They got themselves a misdemeanor and a felony. They went bankrupt. They did something. What definitively is that nobody really reads yesterday's newspaper. And the only one that's all stuck on what your past is you. So you walk into a room, you're positive you've got this sign on your forehead that says convicted felon, or with me drunk, or with me ugly, or whatever it might be. And I think everybody can see it, but nobody can see it because they're all thinking about themselves. Right, Chris?
Exactly. Everybody's worried about themselves. The first thing you got to do if you're in any kind of trouble is, number one, accept responsibility. Number two, do your best to fix it. And number three, forgive yourself. It's the three things. And the fourth is to put it in the past. You can't let your past destroy your future.
No doubt about it.
And work hard. And if you show that you're willing to do that, other people will eventually get past it. Sometimes, like with companies, it's not even, I've been told, look, I'd love to hire you. I know you could do this job and all this, but the company has policies. That's why, one of the reasons why I love talking about Defy. I love going on, I'll talk anywhere, I'll speak anywhere about this, trying to change that mindset. Because until we start treating people who have made mistakes or who have done, even no matter how egregious they are, they're still human beings. None of us are perfect. When they get out, they've paid their debt. And if you don't give them a chance, you're only adding more crime. You're only making it worse for society. You're not doing anything to help society by not giving them jobs. And there's a company, a great company, a guy who was a director with Defy, Richard Branson, who started a company. He helps people with criminal histories. It's 70millionjobs.com.
Wow.
And you have to have a criminal record to go through his group.
That's a great requirement. So the name of the game, everybody, is just think about what he just said. Nobody reads yesterday's newspaper. You cannot let your past be your future. Clean up that past, make amends for it, and go on instead of living back there, because nobody else is living back there but you. And go make a contribution to society at a major league level. Chris O'Hare, we put your Facebook profile up there. What's your email address? What is it? Do you want them to find you on Facebook, or do you want to have them send you an email?
They can send me on Facebook, or email is COhare, OHARE 116 at iCloud.com.
Okay, we're going to post that. Thanks a million for coming on. So we love you. We'll see you next time, and I'll call me tomorrow, and we'll talk about that mentoring. Okay.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back. This is the Tom Chenault Show on the Genesis Communication Network. Oh, Chris, you are so doggone cool.
That was awesome.
Eric Worre, thank you for watching. Sean Murphy, thank you. I mean, you got a lot of friends that are watching. This guy named Victor, I don't know if you know this guy, but he loves you.
He's one of my mentors. He's one of my coaches.
Oh, man, he loves you.
Tremendous friend.
My old buddy Ed Regal's on here. I mean, there are a lot of people. Wanda, Sean, God bless you for watching the show. I mean, it is Els Capel. She's over in Amsterdam. Mark Cohen down in Arizona, just a beast. This is cool stuff, everybody. And I just want, let's talk about contact mapping a little. Denise Chenault's on here. I like her.
She's the best, man.
Yeah.
So contact mapping. So something cool is coming up on Thursday of this week. So we should talk a little bit about that, because that ties a little bit into this transformation and getting the way that you are shifted into a positive place as well, right?
No doubt about it.
So this Thursday at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, I just said that wrong. Yeah, 11 o'clock Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. We are doing a webinar, and what it's really about is that so many of us, we get stuck on acquiring more and more and more and more skills. And skills are absolutely important. There are incredible trainers out there, way more skilled than either one of us in the old skills department. But, I think a lot of times we get stuck in this place of thinking that there's some missing piece still, and that as soon as we acquire that skill, that's what's going to get us past it. And what we know to be true is that that's not really the missing piece.
Skills are the smallest part, and we're going to prove it to you. And we are telling you to have skills. But if you want to have a completely huge band of fiercely loyal followers, you got to watch this webinar tomorrow, because we're going to take you from A to Z of how to get there, and you're going to be astounded at what it correlates to side by side. And not only are we going to change your network marketing life, we're going to change your life, period, because all of a sudden you're going to get access to being vulnerable, to being authentic, and the whole shot. And my wife's about to text me right now telling me I mispronounced vulnerable, because I always get it backwards because I can't say that word. So it's just so weird. I don't even understand it.
It's terrible. So
Go ahead.
So the webinar is on Thursday. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. You can register. It's free at contactmapping.com/webinar. And we are just everything about who we are. We are committed to you unlocking the power of relationships, of unlocking the power of who you are. And we are so committed down to our core of getting you there from here. And I don't think I've ever seen you as excited about doing a webinar as you are about this.
Because I finally have something to say. I'm just a parrot. All I do is completely emulate what Danny Clarke or Eric Worre or all those other guys that are good at what they do. I finally think I have a contribution to make after 30 years in this business that has a little bit of proprietary kind of feeling to it for me, and I actually stole it from the guy that wrote Reboot,
from Jerry Colonna.
Yeah, so I kind of stole it and adapted it. Yeah,
sorry,
so Brad,
Jerry.
Don't call your friend Colonna, Brad, because I actually kind of switched it around. But no, I'm pretty much stole it. All right, but I love it. So by the way, buy the book Reboot if you're trying to figure out what I'm actually saying in this deal. I cannot believe you said that, Adrian. That would never be true.
Busted again.
Yeah, but it is. It's the end of that book changed my life.
Unbelievable stuff. And so, like we said earlier, we would also love to have you get involved in contact mapping. I really firmly believe that it's going to help you to open up opportunities that you don't even know are there, that are right in front of you. And so that's an app. It's free for 30 days. It's $10 a month after that. And it's going to pay itself off instantly. It's that good. So contactmapping.com, you can start a free trial there and get started today.
And one of the great guys in the world is Zach Goldberg. I saw he's watching
Zach's
it. He
awesome.
Just came on, and he is such a train wreck. He's a stockbroker, and he's like one of the most brilliant guys in the world. But he loves improv, and he loves photography, and he just loves being a random maniac, which is my kind of guy. So we made him an honorary Longmont Misfit, and I just noticed he's on here. So we're coming back right after this. And we're back. It is the Tom Chenault Show, and I hope you are having the best day ever. We are Chris O'Hare in the first part of the show. I love this guy. Send him an email, especially if you know people out there in the world that are having a tough time finding a job. They're reading their own yesterday's newspaper. They think everybody knows that they had this happen or that happen. Nobody gives a rat's because they all care about themselves anyway. So you're carrying around that backpack full of rocks, and you don't need to be. And Chris and I will prove that to you. And Defy Ventures is an incredible nationwide organization. Adrian and I are in love with defycolorado.org because that is Colorado only, and they need the money. So if you get a chance to give $1 or $2, go to defycolorado.org and throw them a couple bucks. They would super, super appreciate it. Our next guest, all the way from England, is an amazing guy who I am truly in love with, who I saw break through some fear as a brave man and really, really, really make a contribution to my life at the ANMP. He doesn't even know what a contribution he made with his courage. Danny Clarke, how are you, buddy?
I'm very well. How are you guys?
You are the greatest. I love your accent. What's going on over there across the pond?
We've got lots going on. Most of it political, which we do not need to go in at the moment. But yeah, on a personal standpoint, you can see the boxes behind. We're moving house in a couple of days. Got a beautiful barn conversion that we're moving into. So got that going on and a few business things. So it's all good.
Well, you look just as handsome and as beautiful as you did when I saw you the last time. You are an amazing guy. Tell people what you do, because it is extraordinary.
So we were active in the network marketing field, had a ton of success, top 1% income earners. And then 2 years ago, we stepped away from actively building and went into full-time generic coaching. And really that company now, I suppose, has evolved from just coaching. I mean, there's so many great coaches out there, right? So instead, we're doing the coaching, but we're now developing the other aspects of a business. So we really just want to provide the systems and tools to make people's lives easier. So like with contact mapping, right? It's just a way to help people get there faster and easier. And that's what we're doing, whether it be from content or from funnels or websites or automations, things like that. But the most important thing is, you know, it's all cool, that stuff. Not everybody needs it. But when you have the right energy behind it, which is why I love you two so much, you know, you guys get that and then you tie it in with the system, then it's just rocket fuel to a business. And I love it. I wake up every morning bouncing out of bed. I absolutely love it. And it's a lot of fun.
And so inside of that, it doesn't matter what company you're in, having systems in place for you to gather up for want of a better term, leads, definitely people, whether it be Facebook, social media, however it is, so they can come into the funnel and then you can actually bring them into your business is what you basically, you are better at that than almost anything, right?
Yeah, that's certainly one of the things that we do. And it came from figuring this stuff out from trial and error. So we actually did a study on this because for a long time, like I followed traditional advice, and I used to feel like I was banging my head against the wall at times that, you know, maybe it's me, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I can't do it. And I'm a real like facts and figures guy. So I thought, you know what? I've been doing this coaching for a while now. Let's just figure this out. Let's kind of get to the point. What works, what doesn't? Because we hear a lot of people that talk about, you've got to be direct, you've got to be indirect, you've got to do it this way, whatever, right? Everyone's got a version. So we did a study, 2,217 people replied. And we basically coach people a 6-step system because human buying behavior, you have to go through 6 stages before you actually make a buying decision. For example, the first stage is the idea. You go, I'm hungry, or, oh, I want a new car. Or if you're like Tom, I want a ridiculously big house. That's the idea. And then you get that's the engagement bit.
Yeah, ridiculously big sandwich. That's what he thought you were going to say, which is probably more true.
Yeah, and then, so that's like the engagement bit. So if I say like on social media, hey, are you hungry? And you're like, yeah, I am kind of hungry. Like that's hooked you in. And then the next bit is you need to express that need. So that's the conversation. Then you need to be heard. That's the permission seeking. Then emotionally, you need to connect. Logically, you then need to overcome an objection. And then you ask for the sale. There's 6 stages. So it's not about being direct because everyone buys on impulse. And it's not about being indirect because sometimes we take our time. It's the stages that you have to go through. So we put it in the test. And we said to people, how many of these do you do? Do you do 0 to 3? Do you do 3 to 5? Or do you do 6 or more? Now, the really interesting thing was more than 80% of people did 0 to 3. Wow. Super direct, get to the point. The problem that they had is people that do 0 to 3 contacts, their typical conversion, 1%. People that did 3 to 5, their typical conversion was 10%. People who did 6 or more, their conversion, 50%. They close half of the people that they get to that 6th stage at. So it then makes it really interesting when it comes to like funnels and systems and automations in a system, because it's just about pushing someone further along. That's why I love you guys with the contact mapping, because it gets people closer to that, you know? So rather than historically it was present, follow up, because we asked this question as well. You guys will know this. When you follow up, how many times does it take on average to get the sale? 7 to 12 times on follow-up. Yep. The problem is we asked the question, how many people follow up more than 3 times? 1% of people. 99% of people don't follow up more than 3 times. So nobody does it. So if you flip it around and you love people in, then more people achieve it. So all of a sudden it starts becoming a system where more people can have success. You tie it in with then, see, I think the one thing that network marketing sometimes lacks, because you mentioned this in one of the promotions, is about giving people the chance to build a proper business. I hear this so much from people. One of the reasons they didn't build it is not necessarily true, because you didn't have anything, Tom, to build it. It was just you down the street speaking to people. You didn't have a fancy website, didn't have a fancy funnel. You didn't need it. You don't necessarily need it, but a lot of people think that they do. And here's the thing that a lot of leaders miss. If you actually start letting people have the tools, so they're building something, it's a lot harder to walk away from that. If you've invested something, there's not just products that's just going to run dry in the cupboard, but you've got a funnel or a website or a Facebook group with 1,000 people in. It's very difficult to walk away because you can see the better potential than £100 worth of products in the cupboard. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'll just say, and you should share your website after this so that people can go and take a look. But
yep. It's all over the place. Oh yeah, put it.
Yeah. But you know,
on the radio. Wasn't thinking.
But Danny is the real deal when it comes to this stuff. And it's just been fun getting to know you, because I went and looked at what, I met you at A&MP. I went and kind of took a look at what you were up to after the fact, because I didn't really know you before I met you there. And he really, loving people in, you see that all over the way that they present themselves online before you even talk to the guy. And I sent your website to our marketing team and said, can you please just kind of copy that as far as the testimonials go? Because it was just,
oh yeah, I remember that.
It created curiosity. It drew me in. It didn't feel like, here's some network marketing stuff. It was like, it was really attractive in both visually, but emotionally to me, in the way that you did it. And I know you are a master of teaching people how to do that themselves.
Yeah, that's a big compliment. You guys are copying me.
Yeah, that is a confession is also what that was. Yeah, so how do you like our website? That is so funny.
Yeah, we are available. You can hire us.
Now we're 2 for 2 as far as stealing something.
That's right.
Right. But you know what? That is exactly right. And Danny, so the network marketing, you're obviously in Europe and you're all over the world. I've never seen anybody working more hours in different time zones. What do you think about network marketing at this point? I mean, are you more excited about it as having stepped away and stepped into the training component? Are you more pumped up than ever before about what's going on in the world?
The thing that surprised me since stepping away is how quickly the industry's evolved. 2 years ago, when we started coaching, we was giving people still information, trying to justify social media. And even back then, social media wasn't even the thing. Like it was just so the obvious thing for some people to use as a tool. But so quickly people have caught up with it, and they've realized that it's not about building online or offline anymore, but it's actually about the connection and the authenticity behind it. And I think what's great about social media, which wasn't an obvious thing, but it's kind of forced it to happen, is that social media is such a bare raw place. If you do something wrong, you will have somebody call you out, spread it, copy and paste it, send it to 1,000 people. So it actually cleans up the industry, I think, a great deal. And, there's been some people that have done some bad things, maybe not been the best leaders. We've all heard the stories, but you can see and feel it, how it's actually now coming to a much better place. I think it's really exciting. I was speaking to Eric, someone was at A&MP, Taylor, how a lot of companies now are moving more towards the experience side of things. I think that's super important. We speak to our clients. Nobody cares about a car. Nobody wants to win a car. What they want to win is something that's fun and exciting. And again, things are starting to catch up. I think the hard thing about network marketing is sometimes it takes a leader to teach everybody, but it takes 3 to 5 years for a leader to get to the top. So it's always a little bit behind. But I think the introduction of a lot of new trainers and trainers now being accepted, and the likes of yourself, Tom and Adrian, kind of with these shows, I know you've been doing it a long time, but more people getting access to it through social media. It's just bringing everything up. So it's a super fun time. And the best thing about network marketing always is the fact that people are just so happy and positive. That's what I love most about it. We kind of dip out of network marketing sometimes to help other industries. There's nothing else like it. It is the most fun, positive, happiest, nicest people in the world. And it's always got a fighting chance when that's going to be happening with the people involved.
So the website is jointhevip.co.uk.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. Who is your perfect target to be joining the VIP?
So the people that we help typically tend to be somebody who has perhaps been in the industry for 2-3 years. They've not quite had the success that they wanted, probably a little bit rebellious. They want to have the success of network marketing, but perhaps they don't want to build it in the way that they've been told in a, let's say, a traditional sense of the parties and perhaps the spamminess. And they're looking to do it more of a modern, cool, online, entrepreneurial way. Which encourages them to, share their personality and really brand themselves up. So we tend to work with people who are a little bit naughty in nature, who have something about them. And we've helped 14,000 people over the last couple of years. And we're ready to help some more people.
That is so crazy. Okay. We're going to take a little break. This is the Tom Chenault Show. We are on the Genesis Communication Network. Thank you, Ted Anderson, for putting us on the air for the last 12 years for free. You are a beautiful man, and I love you. We'll be back right after this. And we're back. How are you, Mr. ContactMapping.com?
I'm good.
What is your name? ContactMapping.com.
That's right. This is Adrian from ContactMapping.com.
/ Danny Clarke.
So Danny Clarke,
my link.
you've mentioned contact mapping a ton of times. You're very familiar with it. You know how important it is to know people's blood types and talk to people instead of at them. Would you expand on that a little bit?
So it was 12 years ago now when I was in my first career and I was in financial services. And what we used to have to do was go shop to shop to shop, selling piece of insurance and financial products. And what I was taught to do, first of all, is go and sell in every place of business. And I soon realized it was a terrible thing to do. So instead, I used to have a little book. I used to put it in my left-hand pocket because I was right-handed, so it was easy to pull out. And I'd go in and I'd grab a name and I'd just get the information that you guys get on contact mapping. And I'd go about 3 months later outside their shop. I'd have a look and I'd remember it and I'd go in and I'd have a conversation with them. I made so much money when I was like in my early 20s because of that. And that's contact mapping, but in a much better, cooler way. Because I used to lose my book all the time. I used to lose so much money because it was all there in that book. It's in your phone. It's easier because it's really hard to write when you're trying to like get down the road and stuff. It's all just automated through the audio. It's epic. It's brilliant. And it just removes that problem that most people have, which is remembering stuff.
Yep. That's exactly right. Speak to that a little bit, Paco.
Yeah, I love that story. And, you hit the nail on the head. It's having just that little bit of care and that little bit of patience that instead of just storming into that shop and going, I'm going to sell this guy the second that I meet him. And my goal is to get that foot in the door and not let him slam it and not leave until he buys my insurance product. That's just crazy. Yeah. And if you can just show a little bit of business maturity, a little bit of genuine care, and build a little rapport, learn their story, and then circle back and follow up like you're talking about, the whole world opens up to you. And not only that, but you've made a friend along the way instead of just, churning and burning through all these people, hoping something sticks. And I think it feels so much better when you're building relationships and you're conducting your business that way, don't you?
How much time do we have? I've got a quick story to tell you.
Yeah, hit it.
Okay. So do you guys follow Frank Kern, internet marketing?
Yeah.
Okay. So Frank is like the top internet marketer. And so there's a great webinar that I watched of his, and he basically showed how he did a £9 million launch of a webinar. It's super fascinating, the data behind it. One of the really cool things that he showed is that in terms of sales, 83% of the marketplace goes for a day one sale, where in actual fact, 76% of sales happen on day 60. So what happened? Everyone's just trying to get the right now. They're trying to get the first hit. They're trying to walk in the door, sell. But instead, you use something like contact mapping, you're still around 60 days later. Nobody else is trying to get that business. And so it becomes a lot easier to secure the sale. Not because you're better, not because you're more handsome, not because you're fast. It doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you're still there. So when you have a tool like that, it reminds you to go back in the future. And that's where the majority of sales happen, because everybody else is fighting for that initial sale.
That's brilliant. I got to go check that out. That's really good.
Frank Kern. Oh yeah. Frank Kern taught us to invent the perfect day. That's where that all came from, where I invented my Tom Chenault perfect day. And that's what I live every day. I got that from Frank Kern.
We teach that in our Road to Freedom program. Yeah. Cool.
Just changed my life. And that's what I do every day as a Frank Kern. Yeah. So I'm one of his biggest fans for many years. And I hate to admit it, but I got the video from Marianne Niehaus because we were all supposed to watch it because I was doing this horrific infomercial once, which was the worst day of my life because I had to actually pay attention and read a teleprompter, which I couldn't do. And I'm sweating profusely. It was unbelievable. That's awesome. Anyway, I guess we got to go back on the air. All right. We are back. It's the Tom Chenault Show with the one and only Danny Clarke. Thank you. You were verbalizing it to me, and I was trying to read your lips. I go, what are you trying to tell me? So we've got Adrian Chenault with me, who is my co-host and my right-hand man, and his stepmother, Denise Chenault, is texting me like crazy. And so this is a family affair because everybody loves Danny Clarke.
That's the best.
Yeah. So the guy is just great. He's from England. You got to pay attention to him. He's got this website that we're going to read back in a second. It's called
joinvip.co.uk.
Okay. The reason I screwed that up is because you paid more attention when he said it. So, Danny, back to you, buddy. We've got about 5 minutes left. I just love you. And I love the vision that you've got. I love the commitment that you've got to the little guy. I'm watching these people comment about how you've changed your life in the sidebar on the show. And I just want to thank you for the stand you are for the ordinary Joe, because that's who we are all for. And the more that you follow up, everybody, the more you follow up, the more trust that you build with that human being across the table. Because it's easy to be that one-hit wonder when you're actually their friend 7 times in or 10 times in and remembering everything about them. That's when the rubber hits the road and the magic happens. And Danny Clarke is an expert at helping you build a system to do that, right?
That's it. It's playing the long-term game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's so much information out there now on the internet, social media, that people can sniff out so easily. Their resistance is so high to people who are just trying to play a short-term game, because there are too many of us who are playing the long-term game that we just drown out those people. You know, a lot of people say that it's saturated at times, the marketplace, network marketing is saturated, coaching is saturated, internet marketing is saturated. It's only saturated with people who don't do the best possible work. When you just start to become a little bit better, then actually it's an open playing field and there is an abundance of opportunity. There is so much. I mean, even, you know, with what I've been doing for a couple of years, now it gives me the opportunity to connect with great people like you and with Ray and Fraser and whatever, right? All the guys, and, you know, got to speak at Eric's house and stuff. And it doesn't come because I am particularly special. You know, I'm not born with certain skills. I have parents who are very, very normal people. You know, I didn't go to anything in terms of the school that was different. I just hit a real bad point in my life. I thought, F it, I won't swear. And I just thought, there's no point not giving this a go. And that's the only difference now between me and most other people that don't have success. I'm willing to give it a go. And that's the best thing that you can possibly ever do when it comes to network marketing or coming to running your own business.
You just said something really smart. You guys, find somebody with a track record that you want to follow, and then follow them. Don't chase that shiny penny in that different system and funnel. You know, he just mentioned 5 names. Eric Worre. He mentioned Rob Sperry. He mentioned Fraser Brooks. He mentioned Ray Higdon, Mark J. We like him. But I am telling you what, these guys, Richard Brooke, will take you somewhere if you'll just stay the course instead of being this wandering generality, right?
Totally right. And the other thing you said that I think was really powerful, and maybe you could expand a little, is, you know, that moment of my life got really bad and I just said, dang it, I'm going to go do the work. And then you went to work on a level that's unbelievable. And so just what it takes when you have that point, you dig deep and you go, what does it take to really get to the level that you and Liz got to in network marketing and now in coaching?
So we had our success in network marketing before that moment in my life, actually. But so there's 2 sides to this. So there's like the pre-moment and after the moment, which I'll go into a bit of detail on if we've got the time. So in network marketing, like how did we get to being top 1% income earners? It was just pure tenacity. It was just never say die, show up every single day. Is that the best strategy? I don't know. I'm not convinced it is, because it's hard work. You know, the more that you can get into your flow, the better it is. But there's something definitely to be said about kind of using anger and spite to get something going. It's a good vibration. It's a high energy. It can make something happen. It's not sustainable, so I wouldn't recommend it for the long term. Then December 7th, 2016 happened. It was basically the day that I decided that I was going to kill myself. It was a logical conclusion after a series of pretty bad stuff that was happening in my life that was outside of my control. Didn't try anything, but the realization, the acceptance of me doing it was enough of a wake up. It was like a rebirth for me. It was like the old Danny died on that day. And what I realized, and what the real breakdown came from, was I thought that I could fail. And what I realized is when I hit my lowest point, I realized that fear was an illusion. And so I wake up every day knowing that I can't ever lose. Because even on my worst day, even when something goes wrong, even when someone attacks me, tries to take something from me, it doesn't matter, because it's just another opportunity to go in a different direction, or to learn a new skill, or to try a new thing. And when that fear truly goes, and you can't learn that, it's like an experience that you have to go through, then life is just limitless. There's limitless possibility. And I've got to tell you, I wouldn't recommend having to go through what I went through to have to get to that period in your life. But when you can work towards it, and once you're there, oh, life's amazing. Like, you just wake up and you're just love. There's no fear. It's just love. And if I can help as many people as possible feel how I feel, then I'll be the happiest man in the world.
We love you for coming on the show. You are truly special. Chris O'Hare, thank you for coming on the show. Everybody have an unbelievable day. We'll catch you all next week on the Tom Chenault Show. Then we're back to the after show. Hello, Danny. So, oh man. Okay, let's talk about Matt Morrow, Michelle Eldridge. I mean, I'm just thinking about going down my list of Lee Perry, Jeff Roberti. My list of brave people just keeps growing and growing and growing. You're on that list, Danny. I mean, coming back from that absolute horrible time to where you are today gives us all unbelievable hope. And that's all this business is really all about, right?
100% agree. Yeah.
When we're off the show, so you can cuss and do whatever you want.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
I mean, I love our life.
It doesn't get any better. And yeah, that's such a powerful story, Danny, because, you know, it's so, and this is the thing, right? You know, having met Danny, having seen Danny from afar before I got to know him, you know, you just wouldn't, you would never know that story based on the way he carries himself, the way he presents himself, and all, you know, and then you peel back that onion and he shares so openly what he went through and how that propelled him to where he is today. And we can all learn so much from that. Not only that it's okay to share those kind of things, because I think a lot of us have that stuff in our past and we're scared to open up about it, but two, that no matter how far up or how far down you go, that it's going to be okay and you got to press through it. That's really what it comes down to.
And you and I, without getting into specifics, you and I got like deep with one another. I mean, seriously deep with one another. Radical self-inquiry, looking into myself, and then sharing it with Danny Clarke. I mean, about some of the deepest stuff going on with me. And at that point, it created intimacy and trust at a level that I don't have with a lot of people. And that's the kind of tribe I want to surround myself with. And that's what I consider you to be. Do you agree with that?
I agree with it wholeheartedly. Yeah, I appreciate and I love both you guys a lot. So it means a lot to be asked onto this. You know that, Tom. I said it the first time when you asked me to speak at ANMP. And I think I knew before you knew.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. You're the greatest. Thanks for coming on the air. And now what time is it?
It is 11 p.m.
Oh, everybody's asleep. Go to bed. We love you. You got us. Didn't he get us up in the middle of the night one time to do a show?
No, I think we shifted it, but he's
all right. Awesome. You're lucky. All right, baby. I love you. See you later, man. You have a great, great day. Everybody have a great day. See you next week on the show. Bye-bye. Marianne is awesome.
We're out. Great job, Danny. Thank you.
No worries.
No worries.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thanks for saying I was awesome, Tom. Thank you.
You're welcome, Marianne. I didn't mean it.
I got that on recording.
Okay.
Not on the radio, but on the recording.
We were already off the air. Damn it.
What's a tool icon?